أفوض أمري إلى الله إن الله بصير بالعباد ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين والصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على النبي الأمي المكي المدني القرشي الهاشمي الذي سمي في السماء بأحمد وفي الأرض بأبي القاسم محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين سيما بقية الله الأعظم روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء ولعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين أما بعد فقد قال الله الحكيم في كتابه الكريم ومن آياته أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
Recite a louder salawat.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
We are discussing about the family structure in Islam, and then we reach to the spouse selection, which is very important and the first and beginning stage of constructing a family. And within that topic, we discuss about the criterions of spouse selection, and we mentioned about 8 criterions, and we also focus more on the obligatory parts of that and the important and foremost important, which was the religiousness and morality and modesty. Inshallah, tonight we want to speak about a practical step towards this. Once you know that the beginning and starting point of constructing a family is a spouse selection. So if we go wrong in this, automatically the entire process of marital life and obviously the offsprings may endanger once we go wrong in this step. So this is the foundation in which we need to be careful about, and marriage is not something that we look on based on the temporary, but we have to look for our offsprings, our progeny. So if that is focused, then we have to be serious in this regard and we cannot play with it. The practical step starts from here, that while we want to select the spouse, we know the criterion, and obviously a person who is obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and totally submit to the will of God, and they put all their affairs, they rely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they try their best to work based on the principles set up by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they try their best, and finally they have to rely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything is not in our hands. So based on the criterions, we know we selected, and we inshallah focus on a particular person. Then what are the ways of you can say the selection, or you can say the procedure, how we can proceed in this regard. Practical steps I want to mention tonight, and inshallah, especially those who are young, those who are willing to get married soon or maybe a bit later, they should have such kind of information. And I hope that our brothers and sisters will take these advisors serious, and these things what we discuss here based on the Quranic point of view and the ahadith and the great scholars who had experience in this field. And also I myself had a lot of experience on counseling, and I can say that it is more than 30 years I'm working on this field, and obviously the little experience we gather in this process, it is beneficial for all of us. Please recite salawat. The first way we advise here is before you proceed in selection of your spouse, seek advice from a reliable person. This is the first step. Quran mentioned beautifully in one of the verses that وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ. Whatever the believers take step forward in their personal or family or social affairs, the first and foremost thing they do is they counsel with others, and their rule is to take counsel among themselves. Among themselves here means the believers, those upon whom we can rely. So obviously it removes the persons who are not believers and those who are not sincere enough to advise. So seeking advice is a prescription made by Quran, and we have to seek advice in this regard, which is so important. The qualities of advisor we need to focus on. We cannot seek advice from anyone, because there are people who, in the name of advice, they trick, and they are looking after their own benefits at their own interest. So sometimes our youths, our youngsters may deceive from people who, in the name of advice, they are deviating people, our youths, from their right path. So these qualities we need to look in our advisors before we seek advice from them. The first and foremost important quality we need to see the religiousness, because the one who is not sincere with Allah, the one who is not submitted their will to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how they can be sincere with you? So religiousness is most important quality in the advisor. Before we seek advisor, we need to find this quality in the advisor, and inshallah alongside with this we need to find some other qualities as well. Only being religiousness is not enough in this regard. The second thing we need to look on the advisor as a quality, that the intelligence, because there are many religious people but they are not intelligent, so they may not give good advice to you in this regard. So sort out and narrow the circle. Find the religious ones, and then find among them the ones who are intelligent. They can give good advice for you. And also we have to narrow more the circle. Being religious and being intelligent, again we need to find the quality in them having sufficient knowledge and awareness about the problems of spouse selection and marriage. If they don't have sufficient knowledge about this particular case, selection of a spouse, especially if they are not experienced enough in this regard, then it is waste to seek advice from them. No matter they are religious, no matter they are intelligent, but they need to have a specific information. They should be expert in this field, and also they should have some sort of experience. And also we need to look in them the freedom and independence of opinion expression. Sometimes they are intelligent, they are expert, but they are not independent in their giving advices. If you ask any question, they may come up with you and they want to please you. They want to, somehow they want to make you happy, make you feel better. That's why they may advise in a way that you are satisfied. but this may not good for you. So they should be free. There should be freedom and independence in their opinion. That has to be taken serious, and also having goodwill. Not all are equal in this regard, and there may be some people who are jealous. They know the suitable person is who for you, but they may not advise because they don't have the goodwill about you. So that is also a very good quality in the advisor. And finally, I advise the quality for the advisor when to seek is the trustworthiness. This trustworthiness is the basic thing. You have to go to person upon whom you can rely. The trustworthiness is so important quality than in the advisor. So if this quality is not found in the advisor, it is not worthy to seek advice from them. So the first step is seeking advice, and that advice we need to find the qualities and these qualities in the advisor. Once we find these qualities in the advisor, and inshallah we can make this process done. One point I want to mention here is very important, that a reminder that no matter how much you seek advice, you need to make the decision finally. A decision maker is the one who is getting married. Advisor can give any advice. Take their advice and take it serious. But the final decision maker is you, because you have to live forever with your spouse. Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. In the same verse, Quran says, وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ فَإِذَا عَزَمْتَ فَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ. Once you make decision, rely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes, even if you go to wrong decisions, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can change your fate and destiny. Once you rely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You try your best. You sought the advice and you took it serious. And finally you made the decision. Once you made decision, no matter it is right or wrong, فَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ. Rely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Once you rely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will help, and Allah may change the destiny and the fate, inshallah. The second way is mediator and introducer. In olden days, it was hard for boys and girls to meet each other. They had some barrier, but they used to seek this. They go through with mediator. Even now, there are many who are modest enough. They don't go approach directly, and it's not a good way and a modest family to go direct approach. And that's why it is good to seek a mediator. Mediator can play a major role. We have several ahadith. I don't want to go in detail because of the time. There are several ahadith we have in the books that for mediator, the sawab and the reward, who can mediate in this regard. The one who can try to make two persons closer to each other and marriage happen, and that person attract the tremendous amount of reward in this dunya as well as in hereafter. So it has been encouraged, and the ayah itself, وَأَنْكِحُ الْأَيَامَ مِنْكُمْ وَالصَّالِحِينَ مِنْ عِبَادِكُمْ وَإِمَائِكُمْ, says that the elders, referring to the elders, why not to prepare the ground for the youngsters so they can get married, make ease for them. So the mediator can play a very important role in this regard, but you need to find out the kinds of mediator. Sometimes you see in this dunya is full of deception. The youths and the youngsters, they don't have much experience. They may fall in the roots. It is hard for them to come out. So I categorize the mediators into three. Please listen to this part very carefully. An aware well-wisher. A person is aware and also well-wisher. It's the best quality we can find as a mediator. He is aware, he is intelligent, he know about the in and out of this process, and also he is a well-wisher, sincere, honest with you. So he can be a good mediator. And also we have some mediators who try, they want to, but they are unaware, no matter if they are well-wisher or not. Or if they are aware, but they are not well-wisher. That is also not a good point for us to go to seek their intermission in our this very important cause. In this regard, you see, there are many websites, those who connect the matrimonial websites we have, and some of them they open up their offices. They charge you. Sometimes they charge very good amount, but believe me, maybe there are some maybe good people they may try their best, but most of them they're seeking their own interests. They don't care where you go and how you spend your life with your spouse. They don't care about it. Once they receive their money, that's it, that's done. They can't do anything else after that. But there are some good sides. They want to prepare a ground and platform for both the girls and the boys, a man and a woman, but they don't charge anything. Sincerely, they set up a very nice and modest conditions, and those sites also you can use, and that is also we can consider as a mediators. But the best thing is the known person or known personality can do better job in this regard, and I don't want to go in detail. So you can, based upon, it is not a formula for everyone. Based upon their condition, based upon their situation, they can find any way which is mentioned here. The third way, which is essential, is investigation. Without investigation, selecting a spouse is not a perfect and good idea. Maybe there is a luck. You met someone and clicked the idea, you made the decision, you married. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may help in this regard. But it's not a good idea. You need to investigate about the person, especially in this world that we are living far away from each other. A girl is living in a different city or different country, a boy is living in a different country or different city. So you need to investigate. So investigation needs some sort of formulas regarding this. How you can investigate, how you can find out about the person. There are many ways. Just I select few ways, few advisors to how we can investigate about this. Investigate through his or her relatives. Once you see the relatives, you can have some idea how the person may be, because relatives have very much influence in the person, right? Just investigate few of the close relatives, and you may find the idea. Brothers, sisters, or maybe the parents, aunt, and maybe uncles and aunts. You can find out. You can have an idea about the person itself, and also the close friends. The Rasulullah mentioned that al-mar'u ala deen khalilihi. The person is on the religion of his friend. So friends have a huge amount of influence in the person. So you can find out the friends with whom the person is sitting and standing and spending time, who they are close to the person. So by this friendship circle, you may have an idea about the person itself before approaching. All these steps I'm mentioning before approach. Before approaching, you need to find out everything. Once you approach means already you're done, meaning you are closer. It is not something that you approach and then you go, tasting like several persons, then finally you make a decision. Marriage is not, is a good way to do in this way. Unfortunately, this world is messed up totally that everyone, they want to try and try and try and try. Finally, they may reach up to a level. Then in the trying process, they may lose the concept, and they may lose the passion. They may lose even these trying processes. Then itself may have lots of influence in the person, lots of distraction in the person. And no matter after that, they may select a nice and best spouse, but those influences, those distractions may remain in their marital life. It may be destructive. So it is good to, before making decision, investigate well and find out about the person, and then you approach. Through the teachers, through the colleagues, through the institutions where she or he going or are gone, so you may find out and have some idea how the person is. And also sometimes you may find the quality of the person through her or his enemies. If you find the enemy who is a wrong person, then you may have idea that yeah, that the person may be having some good quality. Or if the enemies are good persons, you may have some idea that that person may have some bad qualities. So that is also not a bad source to investigate and find out about the person. The fourth way is sending a messenger. Messenger means here the person or a group. You can send, if the person is other city or other place or other family or far away, before you want to approach, indirectly send someone to find out about the person and whether it is suitable or not, or find out the spouse. You may send someone, like how Imam Ali did, ask his brother to find out a good and pious woman so we can have a good children out of her. Imam Ali mentioned about his the marriage to his brother Aqil. So the same way we can send someone or a group to find out about a particular person so we can have a nice spouse in this regard. Mindful and clever they should be. They should be clever. They should not be deceived by anyone, because they may beautify the person and send back and you may make a decision. And then they should be well-wishing and trustworthy, and also they have to go through the processing correct standards and experience they should have. And also you can include in this messenger both youngs and the older, the elderly persons, because elderly persons, they may have experience. Youngster may have an idea about you, because old people, they may think about their own age. They may not understand the present situation of the youths. If you include both of them in the delegation, you may have better idea about the person. Now, the fifth way is writing a letter. Nowadays, mashallah, letter writing was the old now. You can text, you can WhatsApp, you can, through the media, but you have to be careful about the dignity of the person. Boy or girl, especially for the girls, they should, if the boy is sending letter to girl, they should have maintained the dignity of the person, dignity of the girl especially. Do not start with the lovely, what you call the sentences, and then you expressing that you already fall in love and these and that. They may have bad impression that you have bad intention, and they may negatively respond. So it's better to be modest and express yourself, introduce yourself, and write a letter in a way that they should impress about your personality. The personality can be identified through the words and letters. And that's how you can introduce yourself. For both men and women, or girl or boy, it is a good idea. And also you need to bear in mind that you have to be within the limits of Sharia. There are certain things you cannot write those letters, or you cannot express in a way that she is a non-mahram to you and you are the non-mahram to her. So bear in this mind, you should not cross the limits. If your beginning of your life, the marital life, starts with crossing the limits, there is no guarantee that after marriage you may stick with the Sharia and the principles of Islam. So have some patience. Time will come for everything. You have to do things on its own time, not before time. You may spoil things, but just by hastening yourself and being hurried. So you have to wait, and you have to give some time for those expressions to come on its perfect time, so you can have such things and enjoy with it. Sixth way is photograph. It is not banned, it is not haram to see the picture of a person once you make a decision already. You investigated and you have, you selected already the person, you already have a person in your mind, then it is not bad to exchange the photographs, and that is something just to make sure that to whom you are getting married. You need to know the appearance as well, so you can spend good time with your spouse. Seventh way is direct talk. You can arrange a meeting, or you can talk on phone. Direct talk, sometimes Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam mentioned in a beautiful hadith, Al-Mar'u مخبوء تحت لسانه. The personality of the person hidden under the tongue. So once they speak out, you may have an idea about the person. So you can talk and understand more each other, and you may make a decision in this regard. And the eighth way is seeing each other. These steps I mentioned, do not go first seeing each other. Go through with these steps, and once you come to this stage that you already made your decision, and then you are approaching towards her, and this is the way that you have to see each other. Without seeing each other, and nowadays I don't need to mention about this, because people are they are not getting married without seeing each other. It was some old days in some modest family, and the shy family we have, even still in the Eastern countries, they don't meet each other before engagement or before getting nikah. So there are many families we have still existed on this earth. But normally in advanced countries in Western Hemisphere, in our societies here in Caribbean, it's easy to see each other. But we need to maintain the dignity of each other. We need to maintain the hijab, because you are still non-mahram. Without having nikah, no one can be mahram to each other. Yes, there are allowances in Islam. There is a provision to see each other with a curtain, through the curtain, or a thin dress. If you want to you made the decision, just you want to finalize, just you want to make sure that there is no defect physically in each other, you can have a first look, but you should maintain your intention, and you should maintain your lower your gaze in this regard, meaning not in that look with lust or with which is not permitted in Islam. A man named Mughira bin Shu'bah asked for the hand of a woman in marriage, but apparently he had not properly seen her. The Prophet of Islam said to him, this is our Rasulullah, لو نظرت إليها فإنه أحرى أن يدوم بينكما. Had you seen her, there would have been more hope of prolonged and durable agreement and understanding between you two during your life. Meaning, it's better to see her first and then make a final decision. Without saying, don't make the decision. Don't be hurried in this regard. So Rasulullah advised, so it's not bad to have a look. Likewise, the Prophet ﷺ said to one of his companions who wanted to propose a woman, Undur ila wajhiha wa kaffayha. You can see the face and hands, because hands or the face is allowed for women to expose, even for the non-mahram. So you can see it. A man asked Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, can a man who intends to marry a woman see her hair and beauties? Because beyond the face and the hands, they cannot see each other. The man asked the Imam. Imam said, there is no problem if he does not have the intention of enjoying it. Sometimes just you want to enjoy, it is not allowed. But you already made decision, just to make sure that you are not deceived by anyone, or you want to make sure that I want to live with the person for a long period as a marital life, then I need to make sure that everything is okay. Then yes, he really wishes and intends to marry her, then it's fine, it's allowed. So these are the things which is allowed in Sharia. It itself shows that how Islam is advanced in 1400 years back. Consider the society and mentality at that time, and do not compare with the mentality exists today. So Rasulullah and our Imam Sadiq and other Imams advised at that time in that society, but that is still, it is applicable now and in present societies. And finally, I did mention that in all these process, you need to maintain the dignity of the person, especially the dignity of the girl and the woman, because once you expose that you have intention, you have already made decision, and then you break up, and the others may not come for her. So without making decision, without finalizing it, do not announce such things in the public. Do not publicize it. So once You made engagement, once you made final decision, then only you publicize it. Because the girl's dignity and the woman's dignity is so important that if it is exposed that these are the ones who are trying to marry and they break up, the others may go beyond that. Nothing may happen, but they may think and they may assume something which is not good for the dignity of the girl. It is so important, and we have to maintain such a dignity, and inshallah we hope that our brothers and sisters will maintain such a dignity of both sides, especially the girl. One thing I want to mention here, which is so important across the world, we are in making decisions. Some people are very difficult for them to make decision quick. After having advice, after speaking to the mediator, after even talking to her and or him, after a lengthy process, and still it is hard for them to make decision, the final decision. And in Eastern world, in Islamic world, I saw people go for istikhara. You heard the istikhara, the word istikhara? The istikhara. Istikhara means, the literally istikhara means asking goodness in whatever you want to carry on from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The best istikhara is what? Offer 2 rakat of prayer and make dua. Oh Allah, if there is a khair, there is a goodness in what I'm going to carry on, please make it easy for me. If it is not, somehow influence in my mind to avoid the situation, to not to go for it. Asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, making dua. This is called istikhara. But what people see from through the Quran or the tasbih or other resources is called tafa'ul. Tafa'ul, what you call the omen? Omen? The word? Omen? Yes, omen. Right? It's tafa'ul, it's not istikhara. Tafa'ul, sometimes people call istikhara to tafa'ul. They mean, if they say istikhara, they mean the tafa'ul. Fine, tafa'ul is also mentioned, but we need to understand when and where the tafa'ul is, when the istikhara is. The first and foremost thing, you have to make decision. Find out all the circumstances. Get the advice. Go through with the mediators. Check the families. Check the person. Make decision. If you're able to make decision, there is no need to go for istikhara. Please listen to it carefully. There are some people I know, they call me, they text me, they ask me to do the istikhara day and night. But for each and everything, there is no need for istikhara. First and foremost thing, you have to make decision. Once you reach up to a level that it's certain, you are certain that it's good for you, then you don't need to see istikhara. Like, for instance, if you want to offer the morning prayer, is it allowed for you to see istikhara whether I offer or should not offer? It is not the place for istikhara, because this is obligatory part. You have to offer. And if you want to commit haram, God forbid, is it allowed for you to see the istikhara? It is haram. You know, you cannot make istikhara for it. So it is not the place for istikhara. No, you have a very important task to carry on, like spouse selection. But you want to seek advice from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You investigate, you make decision. Once you reach even 70-30, like 70% you make decision is good for you, and 30% you have doubt, and still I advise to go for 70%. You don't need to go for istikhara. Once you reach up to 70%, that you'll find that the 70% is good and 30% is not good, so it is good for you to go for 70% without going for istikhara. But sometimes you did investigation, you seek the advice, everything you did, but you have 50-50. Whether go for it or not. You are confused and totally confused. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala don't want put you in trouble. To take out of confusion, this is the provision of istikhara or tafa'ul. You can seek advice from Quran, you can seek advice from tasbih. There is a dua for it, and make dua, make intention, and open the istikhara. Like you open the Quran, And the right page of the Quran, the first verse, gives some indication. If talking about the Jannah and bounties of Allah and such things, it means it's a green signal. You can go ahead. If talking about hellfire and punishment and something like that, it means it's negative. Don't go for her. Don't go for it. But each and every person cannot see the istikhara. It's not so easy to understand from the Quranic verses. If you cannot make it, you can ask someone, a scholar or someone, to see the istikhara. You don't need to express your intention. You don't need to say that for what you are seeking istikhara. Just you can say that I made intention, please see istikhara for me. And that person may see istikhara and let the answer for you and rely upon it. But it is advised by Ayatollah Jawadi Amali, I heard that he mentioned that istikhara is still not advised for everyone. Only to make you come out of the confusion. In that situation only you can seek istikhara, but the otherwise don't go for each and everything, each and every task, don't go for istikhara. But this is a good option, and I myself, I personally had a huge amount of experience in years and years. Once I made intention to the istikhara and open it, it's just like giving an answer to my question. I did mention to some of our brothers, in 2011 we had a crisis in Linden, right? We had a program in the month of Ramadan, the night of power, the whole night of power. We have to stay there in Linden. So the road was closed. So how I can go? But I said, let's go and seek istikhara and see how we can come. When I opened, the same verse came for advising Prophet Musa, commanding Prophet Musa that go and throw your asa, stick on the river, and way will open and you can pass. It's a very good indication, just direct answer for me. I asked Brother Aqil, let us go. He was here in Jarton. So we made the arrangement. It was hard to get the transportation even. So we went. We reached up to a bridge. What the bridge? The name of that bridge? It was closed. No. Once you cross the Linden Highway towards Linden, there is the first bridge, which was closed at that time. So it was closed. The bridge was closed. But by the time we reached there, somebody opened the bridge, and we passed. See the istikhara? And then they closed back the bridge. I don't know. I never informed anybody, and I was not VIP to open for me. And automatically it happened. And we went and spent the whole night, alhamdulillah, peacefully. We performed the prayers and du'as. And I wanted to come out. It was hard to get the transportation. One person was waiting to accompany someone so he can come back to Georgetown. So we accompanied with him. And the place was open. I was on the middle of the highway. I saw the trucks of the military going towards Linden. And again I heard that the road is blocked again. Exactly open for us, and then they closed back after we passed the bridge and we passed the way. So sometimes the istikhara will answer directly your question. And that is something we need to consider, that Allah is there once you are confused. Do not worry much about it. Once you rely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will help you in this regard. فَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ. Rely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. 5th of Muharram, normally we talk about the two children of Lady Zainab and Ja'far and Tayyar. The Abdullah ibn Ja'far, the grandsons of the Ja'far and Tayyar. We are aware that only 10th of Muharram, the Ashura, all martyrs achieved martyrdom. It was no battle before the 10th of Muharram. It was a discussion between both the groups. Imam Hussein had several discussions, several meetings with opponents, and so many lectures he delivered, so many sermons he delivered. He introduced himself and he guided all of them, even opponents, those who made the decision to kill Abu Abdullah Hussein. Imam Hussein wanted to guide them. That's why a very great scholar who mentioned that each one of the Bani Hashim, each one of the Hashimites was so brave that they could kill thousands of opponents. And yet we find very few casualties in Karbala. The main reason is they never went to kill opponents. They went to guide them. If all the source of guidance are closed down, then the one who came forward, they killed that person. Still the casualty, you cannot compare. Here we have 72 who lost their lives, meaning to achieve the martyrdom. But other side was the number goes more than 1,000. But because the whole army was 30,000 plus, and they lost more than 1,000 people. So that still, it shows that in this, the camp of Imam Hussain, we had 6-month-old baby, we had 70 plus elders, and including all, we had 72 fighters. But at that side, we had more than, the minimum was 30,000. The casualty, it could be high in the camp of Yazid, in the camp of Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad. But why it is low? Because they not went to kill their opponents. They went to guide them. That's why you see in the final moment of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, in the last breath, in few minutes before he achieved martyrdom, he's speaking to Shimr ibn Ziljoshan, who is about to slaughter him. He's guiding him, trying to guide him. He said, Manil ladhir taqaita, who is upon my chest? And he replied that I am the Shimr. And he mentioned that, you don't know me? He said, yes, I know you. You are the son of Fatima and Ali. You are the grandson of Rasulullah. And then he asked, if you leave me, I can promise gardens in heaven, in Jannah. And he never said that, how can you sure about it? Because he knew the hadith by Rasulullah that Al-Hasan wal-Husayn Sayyada Shababi Ahlil Jannah. He said that is the credit, I want cash. See the mentality? And Imam still trying to guide him, continue to guide him. And he mentioned that if even you want cash, I can give you my gardens in Hijaz. But he said, no, the ray is much wider property for me, because that's a position. Then Imam saw all doors are closed for this person. And then he said, if you really willing to kill me, at least give me a sip of water. Imam never wanted to drink the water, but he wanted to test the person's humanity and show to the world that which kind of persons they are in our opposite camp. So the writers, the narrators narrated these things, and it's recorded, alhamdulillah. So the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam went to guide people, not to kill them. Right? So now each one of the days in the month of Muharram, we dedicate for certain martyrs. And normally the 5th of Muharram dedicated to Aun and Muhammad. They were not youngs, even they not reach up to the teenagers. It was narrated that 8 years and 9 years of, or maybe 10 years of age, the Aun and Muhammad. In this age, you cannot expect them to go to the battlefield. But see the Hashemites and their courage. While Imam Hussain ﷺ leaving Medina, he asked all his family members to join him, and also the close companions. The closest person to Imam Hussain was Lady Zainab, his sister. And it was hard for both Imam Hussain and Lady Zainab to be separate from each other. That's how they brought up in the family of Lady Fatima and Imam Ali. And even it is mentioned that while she was getting married to Abdullah ibn Ja'far, it was a condition that whenever Hussein والسلام, intend to travel, you cannot separate me from Hussein, my brother والسلام. And condition was agreed. And then Abdullah ibn Ja'far al-Tayyar, I don't know exactly why Abdullah not accompanied Imam Hussein. What I find through the historical books, what I read, that Imam Hussein had some arrangement to have people in Medina and some in Mecca. So after the massacre of Karbala, they can continue the mission. If you take all the Ahlul Bayt and all the Hashemites in Karbala, if they all achieve the martyrdom, then who remained to propagate Islam after? Who remained to continue the mission of Imam Hussein? So maybe it was a mission by Imam Hussein, it was an arrangement by Imam Hussein that certain personalities of Ahlul Bayt and Hashemite should remain in Medina, certain personalities remain in Mecca, and certain in other parts of the Islamic territories. So Abdullah ibn Ja'far was among them, and he was very much generous person, and he said that I am not able to participate in the battle of Karbala, but I am sending my son, because it is mentioned that one son on behalf of Lady Zainab and other son on behalf of Abdullah ibn Ja'far. Both these sons, it is narrated that in the night of Ashura, Imam Hussein divided the night of Ashura into three parts. One part for prayers and making dua. In the last moment of their life, they prayed in a way that no one can offer the prayers in that condition. They offer the prayer, all of them. One part seeking advice and giving advice to each other, making arrangement for the next day. The third part is logistically they want to get ready for the Ashura, the day of Ashura. So this night was very important night for all of them. They were surrounded by the enemies. I did mention that Imam Hussein allowed them to go out. None of them went out. All of them stayed with Imam Hussein. Everyone was eager to find their time so they can offer themselves as a sacrifice. Everyone was happy. Everyone was, ready to shed their blood. Among them was Lady Zainab. It is narrated that one of the persons who was walking through outside of the camp and the tent of Lady Zainab salamullahi alayha, they heard the voice that mother is mentioning few things to the sons. 9 year, 10 year, this is not the age to go to the battlefield. But Lady Zainab said, "Oh my sons, you are the son of Abdullah. You are the grandson of Ja'far al-Tayyar. And also you are the grandson of Ali ibn Abi Talib. You have to uphold the values of them. You show the courage. You have to sacrifice yourself for the Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, for the cause of Islam. I don't want to see you a single defect in the battlefield. Do not seek anything from the enemies, but show your courage." And those were the words Lady Zainab was mentioning to her sons. And the Lady Zainab was the personality of Karbala. If you remove the role of Lady Zainab from Karbala, Karbala is lacking huge. You cannot mention the history of Karbala without the role of Lady Zainab. She was a mother. Obviously, mother has feelings towards her sons, and she is preparing both of her sons to get ready for sacrifice. It is mentioned that both of them went to the battlefield and they fought, and while they were falling down from the horses, they asked help from Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, and Imam Hussein brought both the corpse to the tent. The reaction by the Lady Zainab was totally different. Each one of the women of Abu Abdullah were there. If their person as a martyr they bring to the camp and the tent, they used to weep and cry for them. But Lady Zainab never cried for her sons. What she did, she spread the musalla and she offered the prayer and went to the prostration and said, "Shukran lillah. Allahumma taqabbal hadha al-qurban." Oh Allah, accept this sacrifice. She never cried for her sons. And it is mentioned that while the Lady Zainab and the caravan, as a captive, they went to Damascus, and it was a time for them to come out of the Damascus they released from the prison, and they wanted to go back to Medina. All the heads of the martyrs were there accumulated, and they gave back to the relevant authorities, relevant relatives. And it was narrated each one of them, the woman, if they received the head of their belonging relative, they used to take them and used to weep and cry for them. But it was 2 heads came, no one was handing over that. No one was going for that 2 heads. And one of the ladies who were there, she shouted that these sons, their mother is passed away. We don't have their mother. Then the lady Zainab looked on her sons. Then she said, no, no, no. Their mother is myself, Zainab. It's me, their mother. But how can I live weeping and crying for my brother Hussein, and I weep for my own sons? She never cried and she never wept for their own sons, her own sons. Rather, she cried for Abu Abdullah Hussein. And then it is mentioned that she returned back to Medina, and straight away she went to the Masjid al-Nabawi, and she mentioned all happened to her and Abu Abdullah Hussein in the plains of Karbala to the Rasulullah, and she complained to Rasulullah, oh Rasulullah, you see the Ummah, your Ummah, what they did to Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And then she went to the Baytul Sharaf, her own home, and she saw 2 prayer mats belongs to her own sons, Aun and Muhammad. And that was a time Lady Zainab was not able to resist, not able to control herself, and she cried a lot and said, oh my sons, please forgive me. I was not able to cry for you in the plains of Karbala because I was busy crying to my brother Hussein and my brother Abbas. I was not able to cry for you. Oh my sons, please forgive me. I was not able to cry for you in the prison. I was busy crying for my brother Hussein. Now I cannot control myself. When I see 2 amama, 2 turbans, and 2 prayer mats belongs to you, I cannot control myself. May Allah grant the strength. May Allah grant us strength to understand the atrocities of Karbala and weep for it and cry for it. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdillah wa ala al-arwah allati hallat bifinaik. Alayka minni salamullah. أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. يا حسين يا حسين.